Welcome to Jesse Waugh Radio. Tiara Budiendra is a Javanese fine artist and illustrator who employs color to great success. She recently completed a master's degree in fine art at the University of Brighton in England, a course in which I was also enrolled. We begin discussing the symbolism which is present in many of Tiara's works. Where does this symbolism come from? Because it seems to me that I could actually categorize you as a symbolist artist, and I don't think that I would be wrong.
At first, I didn't realize I was using symbolism, in my artwork, but I don't want to at first. But maybe subconsciously, it began from my roots in Java because we use, a lot of symbolism around me, like even in dancing, in painting, in poetry, and even in, the shadow puppets.
Yeah, right.
They use a lot of imagery around me. So maybe subconsciously, I started to use symbols in not just my paintings, but in my graphic works. But I realized that that's like a safe zone for me. So in the end, I do not want to use, symbolism in my works because it's too familiar. It has influenced me a lot. So there's no surprises there anymore,
And as opposed to, what would you do if you were to avoid symbols in your works? Like, for example, your paintings of the arms and ears, those are symbols. And if you were to avoid using those, would it become abstract or would it become figurative, but without any kind of direct symbolism?
That's why at the end of the MA, I'm leaning towards abstract because I think too much in my painting. And when it comes to symbolism, when you paint something, an imagery, you can't just paint it naively. So when it comes to symbolism, I use my brain too much, which I do not want. So in the end, I don't want to think. I just want to feel.
You mentioned naivete, and that's something that they'll basically, in art school nowadays, they'll just basically accuse anybody who makes figurative work of being naive, and it's like, sorry, but we're not all naive,
We're not all naive.
It's kind of the point where I actually think that people who use the word naive to apply it to figurative art are actually the naive ones themselves. You know what I mean? Because it's like modern art is, the 20th century's over, folks. But, you know what I mean?
Because for me, I'm a newcomer to art. So my background is from graphics, right? It's so strong. And that's why me being naive, I think it's, what's wrong with that,
Right.
And
yeah,
I'm just exploring myself again with either symbolism or abstract. So I guess, which is why I'm trying new things. When I start to paint, I learn something about myself, which at my age, I thought that I know already about myself. I'm 100% confident. But in the end, when I start to paint a different kind of painting on a different kind of canvas or medium or anything, you learn something more about yourself. So I think my naive part is in there. So yeah.
What has been your most satisfying piece yet, painting or
the
graphic
mushrooms.
design? The mushrooms, really? And
mushrooms.
That's a sculpture.
I know. I don't know why my hands are so eager to continue that concept. It's not fully finished last time in the MA, so I don't know. I really want to continue that piece, like make a huge, massive one.
And what was that called?
Oh, what was it called? Oh, flourishing.
Yes.
Flourishing. Yeah, that's the.
And so, what did you enjoy about it? Because it's sculptural and it's tactile and physical,
Yes.
three-dimensional.
Yes, that too. I can play with the textures. I can use my hands more, actually. I can use my hands more. Or compared to painting, I use a tool, my brush, so it's not direct. Although I still love it that way. But with clay or with, anything but paint, I'm all hands on. So I like the feeling of making something straight out of my skin.
And we didn't go over your background. So are you from Java or are you from Bali?
I'm from Java.
But you spent time in Bali too?
I spent 3 months in Bali.
Oh, okay.
We have our internship.
And tell us a little bit about Javanese culture.
Oh, Javanese culture. They're very polite. If you want to say no in Javanese, we have to like go around in the center before we can actual no. That's
Oh,
that's Java. That's basically Java, my culture. We're very open, but in the same time, we're very strict as well with our traditions when it comes to weddings, especially.
mhm.
You cannot have like an international wedding, like like friends over 100 friends, and that's it. You have to invite 500 people, and we have to invite and that's not even your friends. That's your parents' friends and your grandmother's friends. You have like around 50 people to invite in your own wedding. That's Javanese.
And that's
That's
not that's
Javanese.
that's not half the population of the island
That's
because it's
not
not that big
the
an
popular.
island.
I know. Uh, but we're very um very blessed with our culture. I mean, at least the art section.
Shadow puppets come from your island, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's a mix as well. It's from India because Indonesia is like centuries ago. We're a mix of Chinese and Indians and Malays. So we have a bit of everything here. We just applied it along the way. We applied our own culture in our arts.
Yeah.
So I can't really say it's 100% Indonesian because the characters has the same characters in India, like Rama, Shinta.
Have you thought about how Javanese shadow puppetry has influenced your work?
Yes, a lot.
What?
I'm
How
afraid.
has it? How has
How?
it? Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the philosophy behind it. Maybe. Well, it's
Really?
kind of hard. Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain because it's so complex. I mean, with the history and everything, but the Javanese philosophy has really influenced my way of thinking in my art. Maybe, but that's a how do you call it? That's a kryptonite for me as well because I can't really be loose
Right.
because I have to guard certain topics, so I won't disrespect my culture
Right.
like that. So I can't be totally free with my art in my own country. So
So it
that's
serves
like,
as a constraint. Certain aspects of the
yes,
culture serve as a constraint, and then you have to work within the constraint. Do you think that that
yes,
has
exactly.
also has that benefited your art? Has it given your art a kind of order as well as being a
Yes,
restriction?
it gives me, yes, totally. It gives me an orders because the ironic thing is I want to break free from that order. From that order. I mean,
Right.
graphic design is. I mean, I love graphics, but it's too much system in there. But in a way, I'm like a ticking bomb, I'm ready to explode. So, but that's a good thing, I guess. That's a good thing. I'm channeling my energy to make something which I know is the breakthrough for me, at least personally,
Yeah, that
within the
sounds good.
constraint
Yeah.
that I have. Yeah. So I guess it's okay. I'm just filling up my energy with good and bad, and it depends on the outcome. But I guess, I mean, maybe I'm pretty sure it's a good outcome in my painting. For now, I'm just focusing on filling up that energy first, good or bad.
Yeah, I've actually got an interesting take on that because I grew up in a kind
Mm.
of cult in California,
Yeah, I
and
remember.
I left that religion when I was 20, right?
20.
But it also there's so much I've derived so much benefit from having grown up in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
I
basically it's
understand.
order, certain kinds of restrictions and orders, and it wasn't the interesting thing is that it was not a large religion. It wasn't Catholicism. It
Mm.
wasn't even Christian
Mm.
really.
But
Um,
still, it's a community.
exactly, and there are certain sorts of cultural memes evolve
Mm.
and restrictions where you're
Yes.
supposed to behave behaviors where you're supposed to
Behaviors.
behave a
Oh,
certain
right.
way.
That's the word I'm looking
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
Right. I
So
agree.
so it's good. So
So many challenges.
after you went through the MA, because you went to the MA
Mm.
at University of Brighton in the UK
Yes.
with
Yeah.
me, and
Yes.
after that, what have you learned about, and what's your opinion, frankly, of British art scenes, and then overall the kind of Anglo-American art scene? What do you think about it?
Anglo-American. I've seen a lot of Chinese artists. That's my influence. So I look to them a lot compared to Western artists. So when I went to a British Academy, the artwork there is much more daring. If I'm trying to be honest, yeah, if I'm being honest, it's so much. It's how do you say? Oh, it's so diverse. It's so diverse. You have like all different mediums and textures. Like all you can feel everything. While compared to my country, it's diverse as well, but you can see there's one pattern just the same. So there's not much excitement anymore. But with Western art, I mean, like every single detail matters to you, that how you present it. I think the quality, the presentation is like wow, beautiful.
The reason I specified Anglo-American and British as well is because even in comparison to, like, for example, Iberian art where I'm at, or French, or obviously Italian is a completely different world. Still, Italian's still based. Yeah. Italy's still in the Renaissance. There's plenty of modern art there, but the driving force in Italy is traditional art, really. You know. Yeah. And Germany's probably in sync with the Anglosphere. You know. But that's what I thought. Yeah. But you know, the thing that I didn't really kind of like about what they put forth in the program was that it seems like they do try to almost enforce abstraction. And I saw that I actually had a question for you, and then also I saw Shaolin doing stuff. And what's Shaolin's last name?
Shaolin Zhang.
Zhang, right? Shaolin Zhang. Who's also a very good artist. Both of you guys, it seemed like you would experiment with abstraction, but I guess you already had done that before you were in the UK.
No, actually, I mean, well, yeah, like one or two paintings, but not really into it. Since I, in the MA, that my mentor encouraged me to make more paintings about abstraction rather than symbolism, actually. Oh. So yeah. So I don't mind. I mean, I don't have a problem at all with the institution, because at least my mentor really encouraged me to experiment with anything, actually. But in the end, I go with abstract because I'm fed up with the system in my own self.
What did your mentor say about symbolism?
He criticized more about the viewer's perception in my painting. More like, what do you want the viewers to see in your paintings? Like, what do you want them to feel? What do you want them to think? And what else? Oh, I'm struggling that they said that I'm struggling with my own identity, because the images that I painted was it was like a half and half feel to it. So yeah. It's not completely. It was not completely thorough, but he also said that it's better to it's better to fail interestingly rather than not do it at all. So that's why I kept going.
Your symbolist works are so strong. I mean, really? Yeah. I mean,
You're the only man.
Well, I mean, I obviously have a very different opinion from most people in that class anyway, so I'm not surprised if I'm the one who says something like that. But your painting ability is so strong, and it's definitely in a similar vein to Dali, but just without being. It's not derivative of Dali. There's just a real strength and beauty to the execution of your symbolist works, where you'll have arms or people or heads or faces, and then they're combined with fields of abstraction and stuff. Yeah,
I was more focused on the human senses when I'm painting my the images that I'm painting at the MA. I don't know why. And at least during the MA, I researched. Did you remember my presentation that I looked up on this Chinese maximalism?
Yes, absolutely. I thought about that a lot. Yes.
Yeah, and then I think you asked me what's the difference between maximalism and the Chinese maximalism. Right. I didn't quite remember what I answered last time, but I'm still working on it right now because well, there is a difference, but if I'm trying to if I'm trying to put it correctly, the Chinese one, it's a bit more. Do you remember Rosie Allen's methodologies in her paintings that she's like,
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah, she's like do not want to think and like let it go for some reason, really zen out or something.
Yeah, I mentioned that to Susan Fines. We spoke about that quite a
Ah,
bit.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
really? Right.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's I mean, I had the same similarities doing that kind of method in the Chinese maximalism theory. So you don't really think because thinking is it's insignificant in the theory, which I need in my practice right now. Actually, that's why I'm so deeply connected to the Chinese maximalism theory. That I'm still researching intensively right now. But I don't know. Let's see how it goes because right now I'm still want to focus on abstract and I just want to play with colors because with colors you don't need to say anything. They just do it for themselves, like Nima's work.
Mm-hmm.
I love how she present her colors. I love how she presented her colors in her painting because it's so honest.
That's
So
Mima
honest.
Chovankova.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mima.
And so, what is the definition of Chinese maximalism, and how does it differ from standard maximalism?
I'm still working it out right now. Actually, I do not know the exact answer because I don't have enough research to answer it right now. But I think it's a way the Chinese wants to preserve their tradition because it's connected to their calligraphy.
I'd heard a really interesting thing said on some kind of documentary about Ai Weiwei or somebody like that.
Ai Weiwei.
Yeah.
Did you see his exhibition in
I'm gonna refrain. I'm gonna refrain from giving my opinion about him and his work. What do you
Okay,
what do you think?
We'll
What do you
skip
think?
that. I think his works are very robust and very architectural because I think he has I think he has an architectural background, but I don't know. No, I expect more from him in his artworks, but I didn't see that. It didn't satisfy me enough.
The quote that I heard was that it's really interesting actually because the Chinese are all of a sudden adopting all of our Western art and architecture in this big giant kind of gulp. They're just like
I think
consuming it like just crazy. And interpreting them for themselves. And that the thing is that they don't perceive it necessarily to have a sort of time sequence, so that if they accept a Jackson Pollock, they're going to accept it right along with a Michelangelo. I know. That it's all timeless, just like we would do if the West was to suddenly just take on everything Chinese. We would mix the Chinese opera with Ai Weiwei, for example. You know what I mean? We would take it all as Chinese, right. And they're doing the same thing with the West. Actually, I don't think we would do that, but I'm just saying that's what they're doing.
No.
So, But I thought that was really interesting. And what that says to me is like that this timeline, this evolution that we saw and really fetishized in the 20th century of figurative to abstract is really only subjective, and that we can actually still say, well, no, I mean, figurative work still matters. Beauty still matters, as was my big thing in school. Beauty still matters. Skill still matters, which you have, by the way. You have great skill.
Well, so do you.
Oh, thanks. Not as much. I mean, I'm learning.
Well, I'm still learning too. Don't worry. Is that the one with the? I think I like your paintings a lot. Don't worry.
Thanks. Yeah, you have. Yeah. No, it's this girl. It's called The Ecstasy, and it's pretty much after an Ecstasy of the Virgin type thing, where
let me open you on my Facebook.
Archangel Michael or whatever is like announcing to Mary that she's pregnant or something like that. It's after that, although it's fairly abstracted or subdued,
Why are you suddenly interested in? I mean, for me, that's kind of a religious topic, though.
Well, no, that's
right?
actually, it's
It's
not. In fact,
not.
this piece, I'm not being anti-religious, but this piece is completely stripped of religious connotation.
No, no,
And
no, no, no.
it's actually a sort of secularization of that topic of the Exodus.
Ah,
And that's, but actually, no, that's wrong. It's not a secularization, but it's a new sacred, a new definition of sacred that's not necessarily in line with any kind of pre-existing religion.
the ecstasy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I haven't seen this one.
Yeah.
The last one was the koi fish
Koi. Oh yeah, yeah.
and the one with the white soul. I haven't seen this. The
Yeah,
white
that's
soul.
of
I
a
love the white soul.
oh, thank you, thank you. That's of a statue in the an Art Nouveau museum
Statue.
in Barcelona. So, you know what, now that we're on the topic of religion,
Mm.
what are your views on just generally religious extremism, and how does that play into your art? And not
Oh
specifying any specific religion necessarily, you know.
God, it's yeah. Where do I start? It's a lot. Oh man. It's like I really want to say something, but I have to be critical. I have to be critical as well, but I don't know if that offends people or not. But should I offend them or should I not? It's like so many things in my mind, you know, when it comes to paint on any religious extremists, because it's like it will never end. It will never gonna end. Even I don't know it's politically driven or not. I mean, like we can't be naive at this stage anymore, you know. It's not, I mean, I don't know, maybe, but it's a very, very serious issues that I really want to eliminate in my life, because the people that's been affected by those extremists are, oh God, really doing, you know. Well, I have a specific word for this. It's blasphemous.
Is your art at all concerned with blasphemy? The
Yes.
idea?
I mean, yeah, I really want to, you know, talk more about politics in my painting to really, you know, give people a punch, but I don't know how. I mean, the sense of urgency in my painting, will it translate to them or not? Or I'm still struggling with that. So that's why, I mean, I said to you earlier, because I'm still a newcomer in this art world, and maybe it's not a good time right now to be painting one of those topics, because I really want to, you know, strengthen my foundations first. So either it's abstract or another symbolism, I don't care, but it's just a transition before I really want to get into art about politics.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long way though to be making those kind of artwork, but one step at a time. I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a rush with my. I guess it's
What about devotion? Have you made any paintings that are devotional?
no, not at all.
No,
No, I'm not interested in that. No,
no.
nope.
Can you describe the meaning of the abstract painting with the red hand in it?
That's actually a task on my university painting class about how. Okay, please describe yourself in a painting. At that time, I was only concerned about the colors that I want to communicate. I used all of my favorite colors in there, but in the I think you've heard this before though, but it's okay. I'll tell it again. Um, I used all of my favorite colors. I don't want any specific images in the painting to describe or label myself, so I went with abstract. But in the end, when I use all of my favorite colors, like turquoise, blue, green, in the end, I just not despise it, but I just don't like it, because I don't know. It's like I'm bearing it all. I'm bearing it all,
Mm-hmm.
which is a new feeling for me, actually. I mean, I know artists are supposed to be, you know, narcissistic and everything. Like, oh, you know, it's you yourself. I mean, you know, be yourself or whatever. But I don't like if I use my favorite colors, I lose a part of me, and I don't want people to see me. I'll leave that, at least I'll leave that for myself. I mean, a little piece for myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like
So
you
I'll
maintain a
just,
piece of yourself that's private.
yeah, as a private one, because I'm not very open. I'm not very open, and I'm very sensitive with my work. So you don't have, I mean, like, you don't have to see, I mean, viewers don't have to see, you know, everything about me. You don't have to know everything about me. I just want you to know, like half of me or something. That's why I don't really like the overall painting. But it's a lesson for me. But maybe in the next 10 years I'll change. But we'll just see.
That's really interesting that you mentioned that you think that you want to or you should keep part of yourself private, because it seems like we live in an age where everything is just,
So
I was thinking about that this
exposed,
morning. Yeah, we're
overexposed.
so
Yeah.
overexposed now. Exactly.
So overexposed. Like, I shouldn't tell you everything about me. And
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, especially with social media.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. And if you watch like interviews of celebrities from the 90s or the 80s or whatever, it's like, or even back to the 60s, the interviewer will be like just interrogating the person about all these personal details about their life. And back then, in that era, it was expected that the person being interviewed would just reveal everything. But why should they?
Yeah, why should they? I agree. We don't have to do that.
Yeah. And then it ties in with this whole era of narcissism. You mentioned narcissism. It's just really beginning now with social media, and people take pictures of themselves endlessly, and they post endless pictures of themselves on Facebook. And it's just like how many pictures of yourself can you take, and how many times can you post it on Facebook? And you see these people, and it's like their life has to be on Facebook in order for there to be that many pictures on Facebook.
I know, it's like they need the status or acceptance, anything. I don't know, like social acceptance or something.
Yeah.
God, I mean, like, if it's just like one or two pictures of me, in a Japanese temple, that's okay, but not in different poses. Come on. Stop. Like that.
Yeah. And I think when I see people that just endless pictures of themselves, I just think, well, I mean, that's just proof that you don't actually have the life that you're purporting to have.
Have the life. I know. I
You know what I mean?
Yes. Totally. I agree. Oh, God.
But I wonder what the future holds for us after this era of narcissism, because it's just crazy,
I know.
And we all fall into it a little bit. If you use social media, you can't help but fall into it a little bit, because you start liking when people give you comments and likes and stuff like that. But then you think, what are these likes worth? Yeah.
I know. So I think it's very important for us to maintain the privacy in our lives, just make it balanced. You don't have to like overexpose anything. You can upload things, but I think just maintain a balance. Yeah. At least for me.
And that it sounds like it's played into your art too.
Yeah, I guess. But I don't know. What do you think? Should I, bear it all? Being honest? I mean, I know an artist should be honest to make it, in the art world.
No, absolutely not. I don't think you need to at all. I think that you need to try to, make, number one, that I think art is for beauty, and try to make something beautiful. I mean, how much was Michelangelo? I keep using Michelangelo, but why not use Michelangelo? How much was Michelangelo exposing himself in his art? I mean, the only time that I can really see that he did expose himself was when he has a picture of his own skin, like hanging from somebody's holding his own skin or something in the Last Judgment thing in the Sistine Chapel. But otherwise than that, I don't see too many references to himself, And I think there's a dignity. That's what I sensed. That's what I've sensed in your art. There's a dignity to your art where you do keep it reserved, In fact, with your last pieces that you showed at the end, the final exhibition, those seem very reserved. Like I could not read them at all, almost.
Really? Yeah. You?
Yeah.
You can't read them.
What did you think? What were they meant to be like that?
That's kind of actually no. Yeah. You got it. Actually, that was my point in making those paintings. I don't want to, I don't want people to think. I just want them to feel. So I didn't put any messages, any secret messages or anything. So I think you got it. Congratulations.
That's great.
Actually, I know, like so many people are like, oh yeah, I mean, like, is this about this? Is this about that? Is this about, you know, extremists and everything? Like, about anything. It's not about anything. But it's okay. I guess the ambiguity that I want to portray in the last paint, it worked out because people can't really, see where I'm going with those, with the last three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you done any painting since then?
Oh no, not at all.
You've been on the move
Ever
too much,
since,
right?
yeah, ever since I come back from the UK and get back from Jakarta, I've been swamped with work. I didn't make one single painting at all. Oh, how sad.
What are you doing? If you don't mind me asking, what are you doing? You said work. What kind of work? Graphics or what?
Yeah, still in graphics, but mostly I'm working in my family's company right now.
No, that's cool.
Yeah,
Are you doing
working in a
graphics for
company.
them or
Well,
no?
yes,
Oh,
the
that's
graphic
awesome.
part,
Wow,
the
that's
graphic
good.
part,
So
the design
do you
and
have like a
everything.
separate graphics company or what do you, how do you
No,
manage that?
in one company, in one company.
That's really cool.
Not different. Yeah, but I do a lot of freelance, mostly illustration, mostly illustration. But that's just about it. But God, work is really, really, really taking my time. So I don't have the freedom. I don't have the freedom anymore like I used to in the UK. So, well, but it's okay because I'm, like I told you before, I'm filling up my energy with good vibes and bad vibes, and I'll just pour it out later if I get a studio.
That's good. That's
So,
good.
yeah.
All right. So
Don't worry.
what I want to do now is we're gonna take a break, but and then we'll start hour two. But if you
Okay.
could please give out your your website address or any way that people can access your art, that would be really helpful.
Okay. Yeah. I do have one. Don't worry.
So what is your website address?
Well, not exactly an address. It's Flickr. All my portfolios in there, my paintings, and I think my best ones. It's at Tiara Budiendra. Just search Tiara Budiendra at Flickr. It's quite easy.
Okay, cool. So Tiara is Tiara, and then Budiendra
Tiara, like
is
the crown.
Budiendra. Yeah, Budiendra. Okay, good.
Budiendra.
That's a cool name. All right.
Yep.
Thank you for listening to Hour 1 of Jesse Waugh Radio's interview with artist Tiara Budiendra. Members can access Hour 2 of this show in the members archive at jessewaugh.com. If you haven't yet considered becoming a member of Jesse Waugh Radio, please click on the subscribe link in the top navigation bar at jessewaugh.com, where you can register for access to the members archive, where both hours of all shows are available. Thanks again for listening to Jesse Waugh Radio, where we keep on peering further and further behind the veil of esoteric iconology and symbolism with a new show every week. Farewell until next time.